Hello, Kalu Kale. How are we doing today? Fuck. There's nothing productive to do today. I'm gonna be honest with everyone. Finished Ojisan Demon Slayer Corporation a little early. And because I finished Ojisan Demon Slayer Corporation a little early, I've been in kind of like, what do we do for the rest of the week? So I've been kind of just improvising, hence why we are midnight in the Garden of Sneedon, just working on shit. Today's fucking sucked. Today has been terrible. Every single aspect of today has been like various degrees of mid. Like, alright, this is good, and then just something terrible happens, and then I'm like, fuck. And like, wow, I fucking loathe most people anymore. I'm like, I don't like getting angry, but I've been getting more angry recently, and that's not fun. But don't worry, I have alcoholic beverages. What's up, bud? I'm stopping by from the monthly thread. You ever look at what's posted there? Yeah, I used to look at it. I haven't really looked at it this month. It kind of got away from me this month, and I'm okay with that. And like, the goal of the monthly thread was to always make it part of board culture, that it would just get posted at the start of every month. And I'm good. I'm happy. People are posting there. It's been a little bit. This month, August has been weird. August has been, that's the wrong thing to look at. Don't look at me there. August has been weird. July has been weird. This entire year has been various shades of fucked for me. It's, I don't know why it's been various shades of fucked, but it's been, just, I don't know. This year sucks. Yeah, delayed it. It was delayed a good bit. Well, the fun fact, what happened was last month in July, like late July, it was like the 27th or like 25th. Someone posted the thread early, and then it went, and then it happened, and then it reached bump limit before it would normally reach bump limit. And because it didn't hit bump limit early, someone made another thread, which obviously hit, you know, it kind of wrapped itself up a lot faster. So yeah, it was kind of like oh, that's kind of neat in a weird kind of way, but all right, cool, people are posting it. I peeked in there a few times. It was just kind of like yay, everything is actually going on and people are happy. Start of the month, I was trying to figure out the JoJo game. Yeah, I know, the time limit on the slower threads, it's a good idea. Here's the thing, it's a good idea. It's to keep, you know, endless necro threads from, you know, not just let threads die. Not a bad thing. This is a good idea. But like, when you do have a slower thread that you want to keep, which is not a lot of activity, but a lot of interesting activity, it sucks. It's hard. That was one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to keep it at the first of the month. First of the month. Because that's 2 weeks. You have roughly until the 14th. And I think it's a good time limit. It's a good way for people to see, like, okay, X first, we have until the 14th or whatever. That's kind of a thing. Hello, Spartan. Also, before I forget, thanks, Herald of Thunder, for following, as well as Eternia Magenta. Thank you both for following. Thank you. But, how was your day? Completely understand you're coming from. Every time we see the light of day, I find someone's bitching or complaining about me or something that's bad has happened. Yeah, today has just been like... Have you ever just gone through the day where it's not just one thing that feels wrong? It's just a bunch of little things just progressively stacking on top of one another. And it's like by the time you reach the end of it, you're like, I'm going to snap. I'm going to... And today it was just someone caught me at two people caught me at a bad time, and I fucking snapped at them. And I'm not going to argue about it, but think I snapped at people at a... Anyways, yeah. Yeah, it happens. And like the big thing with the thread that I learned over time is that once people start kind of engaging with it, like just getting all your you have to be prepared for it. Like that's the hard part. It's like you got to be prepared for if someone does, someone might not. I will say it's once you got good traction on something, usually you can get a conversation going. But that's the hard part, is getting that traction, especially when there's a bunch of people at once or inane arguments pop up. Arguably, I probably won't post another thread. July was probably the last thread I'll ever post. Because by the end of it, people just started shit flinging. It started at the end being like more about Notepad is a bad person than anything. And I'm like, I don't want the threads to devolve into Notepad bad, don't post anything. I'm like, no, don't do that. So if I martyred myself upon the cause of all that jazz, and it happens. I've been working on stuff currently. Let's do a rundown of shit that I'm working on. This is the next commission. If you don't know what this is Arknights. Next commission is here. We've been working on this pretty... It came to me in a fugue state. I think we have a majority of the ABCs on it. You won't be interacting or giving feedback thread anymore. I might be... The thing is, like, I might be popping in. Like, the thing is, I might pop in, post anonymously, and then pop out, but you won't see Notepad Anon show up, if that makes sense. Notepad will not be posting on TG unless someone is like, Notepad Anon's a faggot, and we're like, no, you are. Yeah, no, I'll probably be popping. I meant to comment on a few posts, but it had a good momentum. I'm like, I'm not gonna break up the flow. So that just comes with the territory. It did help that this month, again, you have to remember, this month was just Notepad gets hit by a truck and has to improvise from there. But yeah, no, the Arknights game, the core idea is functional because we have the combat phase and we have the adventure phase. Because one of the big notes was minimal dice. Minimal to no dice. And that's a very unique premise to deal with. That is a very unique premise to juggle. We came up with this system for skills. Basic idea for skills, and I wrote this down. Extremely tiny penis man is outside, revving his engine like an asshole yet again. Now, the basic idea for the cards is difficulty. So effectively, it's ooh, did not mean to press that button. If we put you here, we put you here, we put you here. Effectively, if it's an easy check, you might like draw 5. If it's a medium check, you might draw 4. If it's a hard check, you might draw 3. If you get the appropriate skill from that card, from your deck, effectively, if you get the appropriate skill, then you will pass the check. That's the basic. That's the most basic concept of it. Let's say, for example, we need to bash down a door. I draw 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. And I look at my cards, and it's like, oh, well, I've got a strength card, or I've got a prowess card, or a force card, or something. I can say, GM, boom, I've got the force card. I'm going to barrel through the door. But someone might have a character knack. Where's a telephone? A character knack is effectively like your particular skill that you get to write in. But like, it's kind of like the idea of like, oh hey, I draw, with my 4 cards, for example, I have the Force card. I could that's just going to be me shoulder bashing a door open. But I also might have Katana Master card, which lets me, as I'm sprinting through, ching 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 ching, slice the door open into 5 million parts as I run through it. The idea of the character knacks is that the character knacks can be applied for a lot of different things, while basic skills really can't. However, do I want to use my Katana Master? Do I want to use my Katana Master skill for a tense negotiation? Probably fucking not. Diceless, oh no. That has been the fun and exciting adventure. Also, thank you very much, Solid, for subscribing. That's been kind of the thing with this one, is like, we got to make it diceless. Like, that we want to do that, because the thing with Arc Knights that's interesting, we go over to the combat system. Everything in Arc Knights is actually perfect math. It's really fascinating. It's perfect math. This kangaroo woman here, when she shoots this man, she will do X amount of damage, because she has X attack and he has Y defense. We know that. That is a fact of life. I know that, you know that, we all know that. Like, this character will manage to hit everyone here for a set amount of damage based on whatever their defense is. It's perfect math. There's very little randomization, if that makes sense. When I hit you with an attack, it will do 10 damage. It's not a matter of if, when, or why, because my attack is 15, your defense is 5, I will do 10 damage. Now, that guarantee result leads to some interesting situations and interesting problems to deal with. So it's like, okay, we have to now work around that basic principle. Whatever you say is going to happen. The answer is, how do you make it happen? Is, we need this guy, we damn well know this enemy is going to do 20 minus our defense and damage. Who do we want to fight him? The person with 1 defense or with 19 defense? That's kind of basic ideas there. Little goofy, but I'm like, okay, we can make this work. But this kind of leads to the idea of like auto hits. You're always going to hit. There's no % chance, like I gotta roll a d20 to hit or whatever. The fact that weapon determines range. Okay, the weapon's going to improve with time. The class determines weapon. Class indicates skill specializations. But it's like, okay, we've got that. We've got, it's like the current situation I'm in is kind of a twofold issue. So let's say again, we've got our little map here. This is our really basic map that we have here. And let's say, let me see, let's see, do we have a, give me Arc Knights OC. Give me some Arc Knights OCs, everyone. We're going to open up paint.net. So, let's say, for example, oh god, I'm clicking every button I shouldn't. Okay, we hit that. So, let's say we have our girl here, our crocodile girl. She's standing right here. She's standing right here. Okay, easy enough to understand. She has a melee weapon. That means she can only really hit here and here. At the end of the day, that's what we know. Enemies are going to come in from over here, for example. Or enemies are going to come from over here. And that's kind of the idea. We are establishing this. The hard part comes in for 2 things. 1, can she move? In the actual base game, she would not be able to. What you would do is you would click on her and then redeploy her, and I could say, okay, I want to redeploy her over here. That's taking a resource, that's taking an action, that's a lot of things. However, there's also going to be fucking, 5 characters you're managing because you're one person. That's the entire point. However, we are dealing with a player here. A single player is going to have a lot more freedom to maneuver around. They are going to be the ones making a lot more calls on things. That's kind of one thing I'm currently trying to work around. This doesn't seem like a big thing. This doesn't seem like a big issue. Until you realize, how does all of this work? So kind of the idea with the planning phase is the GM has a plan in which he fires and forgets. He might send a wave of 10 normal enemies and an elite. You know that much. Normal enemies are going to follow AI triggers and preset goals. I want to reach... Oh no, an enemy spawns oh god. Mirror's been really weird. Zoom in, zoom out, I don't know why. So, an enemy spawns... let me change this to... An enemy spawns here. We know that they are going to do this, and they are going to attack the closest operator and try to reach its goal. It's going to try to follow the simplest goal it can. If it's blocked, it will attack the person. Elite enemies. An elite enemy, let's put a Z here. An elite enemy can say, okay, I want to move here, and I want to clog her up, so all the little minions can get through. That's my goal. Though a little bit more complicated. A boss enemy is going to be controlled by the GM to do things that are a little bit less precise. That's kind of the basic idea. Thing is, though, here I'll do is we'll put a boss up there and elite right here or something. The GM is looking at things like this. This is how the GM sees things. Then the players, after all of the GM is locked in effectively, get to redeploy, kind of position themselves where they want to be. You might put a ranger up there. You might put someone like right here. That's kind of the idea. Players will have the ability to react and act upon the situation. GM does not, because initially it was the idea of simultaneous turns. If any of you know how to do simultaneous turns, please tell me. It's a very convoluted method. And that needs to be simplified down a lot, because we are effectively making a tower defense role-playing game. Sort of. We are playing a tower defense. We are going to be making a tower defense role-playing game in which our towers can move, act, and die horribly. And that's a unique and interesting premise. And that it is a unique premise, to say the least. And it's something that you kind of got to sit back and you're like, wait a second, okay, how do we... Yeah, all resolutions go through at the same time. That was kind of the idea, but even then, that's complicated to do at the best of times. So it was kind of the idea of breaking it down into like a planned phase and a active phase. Like, the enemies are going to be going, but most of them are following preset goals. So it was going to be... kind of summarize like a basic turn. This is just an idea, which is like GM plan, player plan, PC plan, GM activate, player act. And like that's kind of the situation, but doing that is it's a lot easier said than done, because at the end of the day, most Arknights play through, basic operation in Arknights looks like this. We have a plan, the plan isn't working, we should start panicking now. And the longer the players are here, the better. But the second that it's going to hit this and then turn the panic phase a little bit harder. If you're playing Arknights, you're playing, and then sudden a wave you weren't expecting comes in, you start panicking. You start saying, oh shit, I gotta put this here, I gotta put this here, gotta move you around, oh no, you died and I didn't know what to do with it, so I need to kind of play. Again, you start reacting a little bit more chaotically. How do we make that work? Who knows? Both go at the same time. Yeah, effectively, that's simultaneous. I've been trying, like, that's been something that is a lot easier said than done to do. Is there an option? Is there an idea? I really don't know. And it's been something that's been kind of... I feel like I'm on the right track, but I don't know where the path ends. And trying to find that end goal is a lot easier said than done. But this over here, I feel pretty confident in. The idea of, let's draw a bunch of cards, and that's kind of our things, with the idea being, if you are in a stressful situation, you are drawing all these skill cards, but you may not have the right skill at the situation because you're just panicking and you're not thinking straight. All right, that's a good idea. But the idea of panicking and not thinking straight can also be applied here. Like, okay, we're not thinking straight, we're being a little bit more reactive. We're actively dealing with the threat, we're starting damage control. Okay, we can't fight all these people, we need to pull back, we need to do this, we need to do this. And one of the other things that's a little bit more complicated is the idea of numbers. Like, if we do like Arknight's let me see if I can find like a good, like, a little bit difficult to find like the exact thing perfectly. But like, to give you an idea, all of this is taking place in like second intervals. This is like, all of this is taking place in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 second intervals. Like, that's just something that you have to understand, and that's where things start getting wonky. How do we resolve multiple actions at once as easily as possible? And that's like, do we extend like what the tick timer would be? Because the tick timer in Arknights is about a second. Every second, people start registering different actions. Every 6 seconds, someone registers a different action. And obviously, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second, 6 second. You don't register it, it's automatic. But every turn, every tick of a second would be a turn for the player, which doesn't feel right. So it's like, okay, how do we make that work better? How do we make this work? Like, would it help to think of it as your army of Animu girls are fighting at a choke point? Like, to a degree, and like that would how it would end up, because choke points would be important. So it's like, how do you make players go active? Like, how do you... The same tick system, I forgot. We don't really need a... We don't need a tick system, and maybe that's not the best word of saying it, but it's kind of the idea of, in Arknights, the game, the actual video game, mobile game, everything registers off effectively your frame rate of when things are actually registering and when people are firing. If a character has a fast fire rate, they are technically firing their weapon and performing the full weapon animation every 0.8 seconds. Every 0.8 seconds they are doing that. But a slow person is doing it every like 2.2 seconds, which feels like a long time. On the other hand, I want you to imagine the standard D&D combat round of 6 seconds. One character has fired their weapon 6 times in that period. An enemy has attacked 6 times in that period. I'm like, okay, we can't do that. This is not going to work properly. If you have the PC's GM playing cards in a stack and have them resolve in order they were played. Like, it's that's one of those things where it's difficult to do good evening, because generally speaking there aren't many actions to do in combat where that, and it's like, okay, what are you going to do per combat? Fire my weapon, move, use an ability that is an active ability. Like, those are really it. Like, but even then, most abilities aren't really active because it's a tower defense game. Like, if we go to like let's find Arknights .g. Like, we'll use Adrena. I don't know who Adrena is. We'll use Adrena. Like, at the end of the day, here's her 2 seconds. Here's her 2 effects. She triggers attack up and gets a big thing. Interactive scything tactic. This is all that happens. It's... yeah, you hit a skill button and something happens. They aren't really big, but then it's like, okay, maybe, like, alright, what about characters such as Bassline? You look like a fucking comic. Or first aid, like, these are, like, this is just mad, like, automatic. This just occurs, and it's just, if X then Y. It's like, okay, what's, like, what are we looking at here? Maybe we need to change something. Maybe to look at something different. And it's like, okay, it feels like we're missing something, and I don't know what that thing is, and that's the really funny part. Mostly when you start dealing with like the percentage stacks of like defense and stuff, it's like, okay, we need to, any percentage we need to change to a flat number, because we can't deal with percentages. Percentages are the devil, and we can never have them. But yeah, you're seeing the problem with different actions, different tick rates. Exactly. He's got a Star Wars Oreo commercial. Notepad, I hope God kills you. Yeah, this game is considered not easy translated. Yes. Yeah, literally every player controls one unit. Every player is... effectively, the idea would be our party, our group of players are these 4. These are our group of players that are doing things. Now, the idea was a player, we'll call it a PC here, can have multiple, you know, probably starting at like 1 or 2, kind of like your 1-star little minion people, little goons that you can throw at the problem. Now, Arknights actually has those. Like, they do have them, but they're not real. There's a helicopter going by. Like, you get like the Lancet too. For example, this is the Lancet. The Lancet is a robot. That's all that it is. That's the basic concept of these of the robots, is that you can put them out as many times as you want. And that's just something that you understand. It's like, hey, you know, this is our robots. Like, you can have an infinite number of these little ones that aren't very good, but they just fill out your roster a little bit. So it's like, okay, is that what we want to go with? Is that a good idea? But I'm like, okay, how do we're balancing this in a bunch of different directions, and that's where things started getting complicated. And I think the idea up here functions. Because I was thinking about, like, every attack just has multiple hits that they can register. If you have a fast weapon, you technically put 3 hits on people. So if you do 10 damage per hit, you can do 30 damage to someone, minus their defense and all that. Or, here's the thing though, do you want to do 30 damage to one person, or do you want to do 10 damage to 3 people? That's kind of the benefit of going fast. Going slow is you have 1 hit, but that hit's going to do a lot of damage. So it's kind of like the, all right, so maybe that's what we want to do. Maybe that's the plan. I think the adventure system works. This system needs something, and I'm trying to find the answer, and I don't know what. Going to be brutally honest with you. There's the system. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that was the idea. Effectively, the current running plan is GM deploys, players react, GM acts, players go. It's kind of one of those weird situations. Like, effectively, what I want to have happen is that the GM is assigning units that from his pool of units that he has to various lanes, effectively, to do something. How the players react to that is up to them. If they take forever killing the last wave, then the next wave is going to show up, and that's going to be kind of like that situation. That could be part of their plan, that could not be part of their plan, who knows? It's, again, it's what we want to do is get the TD standard basic idea. We are actively trying to get a plan set up, then we start damage control. We're putting down more monkeys in our balloons TD to shore up this section because balloons keep pouring through, like 1 or 2 balloons get through ever so slightly, and they get killed later on, but that's going to be a problem when the Moab comes, when the big one comes. It's going to be an issue we have to deal with later. If anything, it could be it could be like GM plan, PC move, GM move. GM move, PC move, GM. Maybe something like that. Because indirectly, like, the GM planning phase is literally him writing out his notes of, like, they're going to spawn from these 3 sections and submitting it. The PC's planning is, hey, we're going to do a special effect. We're going to do this. This is kind of like their recovery phase, if anything. And then the GM goes, it's like, okay, the GM is going to move all their units out to do something, or they're going to move all the units already in play, and then the PCs get to act, and the GM does their action. Maybe something like that. Again, I don't think like a tick system is correct for that. Not a tick system. Both moving and abilities have durations. You could, if anything, we could use the player plan. Maybe we could use like the player plan. If we're going to use all the turn durations and stuff like that, most likely it will have at this phase, you register effects. During the player plan phase, all burst heal, all auto heals go off, all auto abilities go off, all X, Y, and Z, whatever, go off. Register. At the X phase, at the player planned phase, all abilities wear off. That's kind of the idea. That could work. Not perfect, but it could work. I don't know. Yeah, this is hard. Yeah, this is the hard one. That's just difficult to find find the perfect solution. There is an answer here. I don't know what it is. Flipping it around on its ass is probably not the best idea. I will probably, we're not working on it tonight fully. I have not been paid for anything yet, by the way. This is just me, pure conjecture. Most likely, if everything goes smoothly, we'll begin working on it more formally at the end of the week. Then we'll just transfer into it. And I think we've got a good start. It's just finding the solution here. Let's see what else is going on. Oh yeah. This is literally a way to fuck with Horace. I want you all to know this is a way to fuck with Horace. That's all. Yeah, that's good. Oh, I don't like that. I'm getting a phone call. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hello. My mother, my darling mama, wants to go see The Crow. Now, here's a secret. My mother loves The Crow from back in the day. Oh god, I gotta burp, but I can't. This is awful. My mom loves The Crow from back in the day. Loves it. They're remaking The Crow, and she's like, Notepad, we have to go see The Crow. It's going to be awful. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I'm excited. Because if it's a good movie, that means it's going to be good. You know, it's going to be a fun time. If it's a bad movie, it's going to be a fun time for me, watching my mom die inside. Though she did remind me of the worst. I'm going to tell this story now. When I first moved where I am, my mom lived away from me. And she's like, Notepad, let's go see a movie. And I'm like, cool, let's go see a movie. Now, I want you to remember this. My mother is going to be going effectively all the way away from me. And I am going to be in another place. Now, This is a couple of years ago now, mind you. Now, I want you to think, what would be the most appropriate movie as a final farewell to my mama and me? What do you think would be a good movie to end that week of her being here to make sure that I'm not dying or anything? The Northman. Okay. Incorrect. We saw fucking Dumbo. We saw Dumbo, the new one, the live action one. And it did not register in my mind. Why watching Dumbo may be a bad idea. Until you see the little baby elephant try to hug the mommy elephant. And it was that moment I looked over and look at my mother, my dear mama, bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. This is fucking Dumbo. Oh, shit. It was, yeah, that was maybe not the best way to end that. That was not a good idea. Oh god, that was like the least appropriate movie I could have subjected her to, and it was hilarious. Did you watch fucking Bambi after? It was the same, like, oh sweet baby Jesus, like, oh. And it's like one of those things, like, it did not register in my mind. Yeah, let's go see Dumbo was a bad idea. Not a single thought in my mind. It was like, yeah, this is a great idea. No, it wasn't. While hilarious, was a bad idea. But getting back on track, yes, this is Horace's game. Now, Shattered Throne is Horace's game. Horace was making a game for a very long time, and he went through about 6 different mechanics to do it. When I jokingly made an offhand comment of, man, I'll just finish your game for you, because he went through, I believe, five core mechanics at this point. Am I right? Am I right, Jaeger? About 5 at this point, because it was a full space game at one point. 10. It was 10. I'm trying not to count duplicates, but he went through a couple varieties of it over time. And to give you an idea how long it's been about 3-4 months. There have been multiple games that we've started, finished, and and started a new one for. We did an entire dev cycle on Panic in Dawang while he was agonizing over 1. So when he said, "Oh, Notepad, you can't do this. I'm a genius, and this is a flawless plan, and you can never comprehend my genius." I took it personally somewhat, and I ruminated on it a bit. And then, when I was going to the coffee shop today, I was walking to the coffee shop, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit down. I got my notepad. I got my little document. I got my little notepad with my pen in it. My almost filled notepad, by the way. I need to get a new one. It struck me with inspiration. I was struck by a bolt of inspiration, and I wrote this idea. It's using the 12v4 system. The 12v4 system, for those who don't know, is a D12 dice pool system. It is a D12 dice pool system. They say, Notepad, that sounds silly. That sounds like a silly Billy situation. That sounds like a silly dice mechanic. But here's the thing with 12v4. Every interval of 4 counts as a success. 4, 8, 12. We first saw it in Zombie Dark 30. Then we used it in Somata. Both of these games do something a little bit unique, and both of them a little bit odd. It's an adaptable system. The concept is simple. You have a 1 in 12 chance of scoring 3 successes with 1 skill die. And it encourages people who have 2 or 3 skill in something, are really competent at their job. They know what they're doing. They are going to do way better than someone with like a 0, which is only going to be able to score 1 success if they score a 4 or higher. But generally speaking, the math adds up that getting 3 successes on a die is pretty difficult. And getting 2 successes is a little bit below average. So, but most die you roll are going to roll at least 1 success. You're always going to do well, because why? You're a competent person doing something competently. Now, it struck me, and it was kind of a... I try to remember all of Horace's little requirements. And all of Horace's little requirements, because it's a sci fantasy heroic saga. So, the basic idea is very simple. Now, there is a planet. Now, on this planet, there's the Crucible. What does the Crucible do? Well, the Crucible is, if you manage to get there, you become a god. But it's difficult to get there, and it's very taxing on your body. So you need to grow in power. You effectively need to cultivate power to get, effectively rise through, become more heroic and more legendary on your quest to apotheosis. And this is based entirely on the fact of this chart right here. You rise through the rank of Wanderer, Hero, Legend, Myth, and Apotheosis. And all of the time this is happening, you are increasing your cores. Now, these are your stats. These are effectively your attributes, your might, aura, deafness, insight, and presence. These are a bunch of derived attributes, as well as a pool of resources you can draw upon. Are you doing something that requires great might? Then you're going to be, you can drag some dice from your might pool and do something. Does this require mystical prowess or insight into things beyond the colors of time? You want to draw from your aura, fast, insight, presence, basic ideas. You're drawing dice from there to increase, and these are skill dice. This is important. These are skill dice, so they do count as the 4, 8, 12 that you can score 3 successes on them. Now, from there, we have about 24-ish skills. 24, 25, depends on the situation. You don't have combat stats. These are just things that you know how to do. These are important things. Now, everything else comes from your arts. Your mystic, combat, tech, and soul arts. Abilities which do things. Now, if you're an Earth person, if you are not necessarily from Earth, I can come up with a good name, is the Earth races on the planet are people who live on this planet, or effectively in a fantasy world. And they are filled with magic. Why? Because there is a super crucible on this planet that creates fucking gods. So they actually have magic. However, the star races want to come here and become fucking gods, obviously, and they get tech stuff, but they don't actually have access to magic. They cannot cast fireball, they instead cast laser gun. And this also led to the idea of maybe humans are both, because fuck it, I'm creative. Now, the idea is that anytime you want to roll combat, you're rolling your combat arts. Anytime you want to operate technology, your tech, mystic, or soul. That's kind of basic concepts there. But the big idea is right here. As you progress through the 5 ranks, Wanderer, a Hero, a Legend, a Myth, and Apotheosis, your passions are things that you care about. This is your carrot and stick mechanic. You get bonus dice when playing to a passion. These are bonus. These are things that you like doing. Hey, I love money. I want money. I'm greedy. I love money. I have 3 passion in it. That I get to add, anytime I'm trying to be a little greedier than I should be, I get to add 3 extra dice to it. That's a lot of fucking dice. That's not possibly 9 successes. That's a big thing for you. But as you become a hero, those passions become compulsions. And anytime you start acting against them, you take dice penalties. Well, I have to be greedy. I am, of course, going to be super duper greedy because I have to, right? I need more money. I need more resources. And anytime you're like, well, I'm going to forego this. I'm going to, I don't need that. You're taking an active penalty. Your character is being dissuaded from acting a certain way. Agent of Beelzebub. Hi, okay, back to what I was talking about. Motherfucker. Son of a bitch. Fuck. Son of a bitch. Okay, so. You know, conquer adversity, become as God. Very caves of could. But it's kind of the idea. So, effectively, these compulsions become something that it's the stick. You have a carrot, now it becomes a stick. Anytime you do not act in accordance to what you believe in, you are getting hit with it. No, you don't always want to be greedy, right? Being greedy isn't always the best option, but man, is it tempting. Again, it's a drug. You get something if you indulge in it. You get punished if you don't. A compulsion becomes an obsession. This becomes something overriding. You want to engage in this thing to the point where it's now becoming a problem for you. You are obsessed with acquiring things. And anytime you are not on a quest to obtain things, you're not looking too good. And that's what, again, it's a drug addiction. It's an addiction. You're obsessed with it now. You need it. You have to be on any, it becomes purely a stick at that point. As long as you are not on a quest to acquire something, as long as you are not undergoing legendary or mythological things, kind of that's where you are, to find something, to indulge in your obsession, you're taking a penalty. And that's why it's almost impossible for you to reject being greedy at that point. It's impossible for you to. Because whenever you're like, I don't want to be greedy, I don't believe in that, you're taking active penalties. It is a horrible thing that you are actively being punished for. So you're indirectly now saying, I need to do this. You're still getting dice for it. But then, once you hit that mythological, when you're hitting that apotheosis stage, it becomes defining. It becomes you. You are the embodiment of greed. You must have everything, and that becomes your defining aspect of your godly nature. You're trying to become a god. You are now trying to become a god of fucking greed. What does that mean? That means your quest is now to attain something impossible. You are now defining who you are. This is something that has consumed your soul to the point that the only way for you to ascend to godhood, this entire quest, is to define yourself by it. But these passions could be anything. These passions could be, if you want to be a complex and enjoy being a martyr. And it's kind of the idea of being like, we see these things come with a variety of different characters. Let's take Achilles, for example. Achilles is a character defined by his passions, obsessions, and effectively his defining nature. And this leads to his death, is that he has an ego. He has this passion for his cousin, his best friend, his possible lover, and he cares about this person to the point of obsession. He will do anything for this person. And when that cousin dies, he passes away, pretending to be him to maintain the legacy of him. What does he do? He goes on a legendary rampage that leads to the death of one of Troy's heroes. What is Zeus defined by? Zeus is defined by his love of the mortal world as well as his lust for it. Zeus wants to have sex with everything. He is obsessed with it. He's defined by that passion. Zeus fucks, exactly. And it's kind of the idea of like, as you're growing in power, you're able to confront more powerful foes. A hero is going to find it very difficult for them to encounter a mythological enemy. You can't fight them. They are going to kill you. A wanderer can confront a heroic enemy. A hero can confront a legendary enemy. A legend can confront a mythological entity. A myth can fight a godly enemy. One that has achieved apotheosis. And the big thing there is, what I would want to write in is, effectively, to achieve apotheosis, you have to have the blood of someone else on that. You have to have the blood of another myth on you. Which is to kind of say, by the end of the game, you need to... By the end of the game, you need to kind of start viewing your allies as stepping stones. Because, well, there aren't many mythological things out there. There aren't many mythological threats for you to encounter. There are these super things, but you have to kill one. There might only be a few mythological encounters. On the other hand, there's 5 of you and there's 3 myths on the way. Someone isn't going to make it. What do? What happens when all 3 people have heroically stood defiant against the world, and we've said, we've done it. We have achieved this point. We can now walk into the crucible and become as gods. 2 of you can't. 2 of you are going to be destroyed if you set your foot in there, because you do not have the blood of a myth on you. What do? You look to your right, you see your friend who is a myth but doesn't have it as well, and you stab him. You stab him at the 11th hour, and you say, I'm going to become a god of treachery. Because I have done this. But maybe that's an obsession of yours. Maybe that's a defining nature of yours, that you will never betray your friends. And what happens when they betray you? We can go bango bongo. Ew. Kill steal. Yeah, that should be a thing. Being like, if you have like your fucking if you have your a fucking Ajax or an Achilles on your team, then him killing mythological creatures is going to be really easy for him. But he is killing a lot of mythological creatures that you want to kill. And at the end of the day, if Achilles was obsessed with killing things, do we really want to do that? That's kind of the idea of you are compelled. Players are compelled to play their character at this point, because it starts as, I love protecting my allies, to, well, I'm compelled to protect people. Not my ally, just people. I must protect people. I am obsessed with saving everyone. I need to become a hero. My defining aspect is I am a hero. I will do whatever it takes to save the most number of people. That's a problem. And again, by the time you hit that mythological, legendary and mythological stage of your existence, you are hitting the point of, shit, are we ready to do this? Am I ready to? Because that would be the thing. You could always offer a player at the Wander, Hero, Legend, Myth, at the end of those cycles, you offer them a chance to walk away. I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck this. And nothing is going in. You'll live on as whatever that is. You'll live on as here, a legend, a myth. Do you want to take that extra step and become a god and try and undertake the route to apotheosis, which is never going to end well? That's kind of the thing. That should be the tragedy of the matter. It's broken crucible. It is a fucking devil's bargain. And the ideas all work here. Because you can have characters such as the star races, the actual fucking aliens. I don't know what the races would look like, but actual fucking aliens kind of understand the process a bit better. What do you mean? Like, they actually understand there is a process to this. They understand the mechanics behind it. What is a god to them? A god is someone who can shape reality. And we want to become gods. Why? Because we have read books and know what it does. We know the process. Earth race doesn't understand the process. So what if you have a mixed party of people who are like, yeah, I'm a creepy fucking alien from beyond the stars. You're an elf. Both of them kind of trying to pursue the same goals, and do they have different perspectives on the matter? Do they have the same kind of belief systems? That's kind of the idea. That is the idea of Broken Crucible. That is the basic premise, the basic premi, you might even say. Become a legend or ascend as a god. Yeah. And that's kind of the problem with it. That's why it's called Broken Crucible. You are in this situation where, do you want to do this? Because as a star race, you understand. You know what the end goal is. You know everything you're doing is leading to the fact that you will become a fucking god at the end of this. It's gonna be a hard road. You will. Earth races don't feel as compelled to do that because you're becoming more and more distant from people. Because what is a legend doing? What's a legend doing? A legend is a folk hero beyond anything. They are someone immortalized in story. What is a myth? A myth becomes a pseudo-god. They become a god among men. They are idolized and beloved, and their story will be told generations to come. But a god? It's a god to a man. And that's kind of the issue. That's kind of the sci fantasy element, is like certain people. You can see this as a very logical state. You can see this as a very illogical state. But both of them are working their way up. And with this idea, you not only can inform this, but you're also informing how many bonus dice are you getting, what's the cap on skills of arts. You're always encouraged to get more powerful, but you also are things are getting worse for you. The carrot and stick are becoming more, you're becoming more obsessed with things. Things are becoming more defining about you. And it should feel terrible, if that makes sense. It should feel really bad when you realize a passion you started off with, that you wrote in for fun, has become a compulsion or has become an obsession, and you realize, hey, wait a second, this is what I am. I'm obsessed with this thing. I use it all the time. I always try to invoke the dice on it, and it's become a drug. It is a drug to you. Or like, I need more. I need more power. I need more resources. Or anything. Didn't like that very much, you little shit, did ya? Fuck off. Fuck you, Libert. Bitch. But yeah, that's kind of the idea, to literally fuck with Horus. 12v4 is really easily to be scaled. You can scale 12v4 extremely easily because it's just a dice based off skills. And you just increase the difficulty. All you would be doing is increasing the difficulty more and more. But not like, oh man, we're just artificially... You wouldn't be artificially inflating the difficulty. You would just be... You are more likely to do this. Because you have higher skills, you're becoming more and more important, you become more and more mythological. And anything you're not good at, you're going to be drawing upon your compulsions, your obsessions, your defining features. You're going to be drawing upon these more. These are getting more intense, so you're more tempted to draw upon them. Endless cycle, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so Rogue Crucible, basic idea in place. Everything works well. Let's do an update on this because I always said I would. This has been kind of like a background thing I've been doing every now and again. Nothing too, like, I haven't been like doubling down on it too much because it's just been, it's one of those things that just takes time. And slowly and steadily it has been devolving away from the core premise a little bit. Now, as a little odd thing, so basic idea. Here's all of our, here's the Lamb Ball, here's Elemental Cycle, health and pain thresholds and stuff like that. Like, it's a little bit. Technically, I should read it. Shouldn't I? Yeah. Actually, I don't even tell this to be on. Actually, I should add grappling somewhere. But yeah, it's kind of the idea of like Pal World is in a decent place because we have every single ability to make a Pal now. Every single Pal is able to be made outside of the abilities. You may be wondering, Notepad, how do we make a Pal? Well, glad you asked, everybody. So let's make a Pal real fast. We're just going to make a nice sample Pal because Pals are fun and we like dealing with our Pals. Let's do, we want to do, where the fuck is it? Boop, boop. So here's our Pals. So what do we want to make? Let's see. What kind of Pal do we want to make, everybody? We've got many different options here. So let's say let's go to Pal World. Random Pal from Pal World. Give me a random Pal generator. Randomize Woolly Pop. Oh, look, everyone, it's this awful thing. Look at him. He's adorable. What's a Woolly Pop? A poodle and a sheep. Sweet wool. He literally drops cotton candy. So, I want to make a Woolly Pop. Woolly Pop. What is it? Well, I'd say it's tier 2. It's tier 2, it's not really that, it has a comfortable niche inside of its body. It's a comfortable niche. Alright, easy enough to understand. Now, what archetype, we'll say it's a producer. It's a tier 2 producer. Alright, basic ideas. So, PAL tier, we look at tier 2, and we look at all our stats here. So, need to assign our stats here. It should go tier 2. So we need to assign all of our stats here. So if we go up here, let's say it has PAL tier, it has major endearment. I think it has pretty good endearment. I think it's very cute looking. It's got minimum it's got min sense. It's got min body, sub, actually, let's say it's got sub, non. Okay, this is our basic idea. This is our PAL tier. Now, these are going to inform stat growth. Well, let's say, for example, we've got a producer. Producers are not much better. Producers have to input it like that. There we go. Now, this is what we are currently looking at. This is a Woolly Pop, tier 2 producer. Now, everything starts at 0. So we're going to go back to our little notes right here. All the way down here. So we need to do, our very first Woolly Pop is sub 0. Take our sub. I say we sub, post it here, and we take 0. Post it here. Then, this is its cognition growth. It will, at level 25, have +3 to its cognition. This thing's fucking stupid. It ain't smart. But doesn't need to be. It's a tier 2 producer. It is not very good at its job. Now, okay, non. If we go to non, select you. Non. Well, you're only going to have a 2. Why are you going to have a 2? Because you're a fucking Woolly Pop. Min non. Alright, let's do. Ooh. Now, the thing is, you, the player, are not seeing this. The player would never see this. The player will only see the end result of this bullshit math. They will see that it's all of these. They'll see the PAL archetypes, but they will just see effectively a nice little plug-in number. They will never see anything too hard to comprehend because we don't need them to see anything that's too hard to comprehend, because that's not the point. Now, again, players will not see this chart back here. They don't need to plug anything in. That's not the point. We never need them to see the chart. The chart is a no-no thing. We never let them see that. Most of the time, when things up, you can just do this. And attack, which would be 0. This, put you here, everything here. Nope. To a special values only. Ta-da, that's it. Congratulations, we have made a Woolly Pop. If you have a level 15 Woolly Pop, this is what their base stats would be. But we would get 3 IV rolls. And what do IV rolls do? IV rolls are just random stats that we would be, random set of stats that we get to increase. If you roll 1 on your IV, your PAL just isn't as good as someone who rolls a 5 in their IV. Sucks to suck. I like eating PALs. I like breeding my pals to make more pals. But yeah, no, this is just the most basic concept of if you want to make a pal. Their endearment's pretty high, their sense is pretty high, they're going to act first in a lot of combat situations. Because Woolly Pop or Woolly Pop. We want to be really specific what they would be. If I select all of this here, we hit this and that. They would be a neutral. They would be a neutral. Want to do? They would be a producer, neutral, quadruped. Let me open up this. They would be, I believe, medium, neutral, medium, quadruped. Again, players don't see this section. They don't see the fact that it's tier 2, producer, neutral, medium, quadruped. They just see the math. They see the end result, not anything else. And because of that, as a medium quadruped at tier 2, and as a producer, they would have 18, and as a quadruped, they would have 20. So they have a base of, if we plug in some numbers here, a level 15 level 15 Woolly Pop. So level times 2, so that would be 30. Body type is a quadruped. They have 20. Body size is medium, so they would have 10. Their body times 5, and if we look at their body times 5 at level 15, they would have on average 20. They have 9 from their archetype because they're a producer, for a total of 89 health. They would have 89 out of 89 HP. There we go. We've made a pal. We just have to do that for 125 pals. Seems a little intimidating. It's really not. Because once you start getting all the combinations set up, it's just copy and pasting. And yeah, it works pretty... The concept behind it works well. 89 at level 50, 89 HP at level 15. I'm like, okay. That is, we're getting there. We're making it work properly. We've got the terrible elemental cycle. Then we're doing kind of like the attack power and stuff. Like the idea of the attack power, like ATK power, and like the Bratty Toaster Diaz. Just no, again, you got to remember, Spartan. The player does not see any of that. You, the player, will not see that. All that you know is that at level 3, you get +1 to all of these stats. That's all you would see. You would not see the actual plugging in of the numbers. And that's what I even kind of stated in the video with it, is like, the actual complexity of it for a player is just picking and choosing and assigning IVs and remembering how things work. That's really all that it is. IVs would be the hard part. Dev time consuming for you. Oh yeah, for me, horrifically time consuming. And that's why I legitimately have not been working on it as much as I should have. Because it's just sitting here and writing 8 million different variations of a fucking PAL. It's what I was thinking about doing actually with like ATK power and defense power is like every 10 points equals technically like 1d10 damage. That's what I was actually thinking about doing. And if you have below 10 attack power, you just have 1d5 damage. Doesn't seem like a lot, and it really isn't. But eventually, you will be able to carve your way through an enemy if you attack it long enough and it just doesn't act. You'll die immediately, but... So yeah, I was thinking of like maybe doing something like that. And having like defense power literally be just like DR. Like that's that was kind of the current way of doing things, I'm like, that's not... Effectively, we would need to scale defense power slowly, while ATK would, ATK power would increase it would be, quote, rapidly, but you're getting less out of it. Like, hey, I have 21 defense and but 70 ATK. That's 70-10 minus 21. Doesn't seem like a lot when I say 7d10 minus 21, does it? That could be, at best, you're rolling 50 damage. On the worst, you're doing no damage. And it's like, okay, maybe DR isn't the right option. Maybe we do it the idea of, every 10 points, it's literally negative 1d10 damage. That was one option, which was like, you just take away a number of d10s, which is the value of landing a critical on someone, where it's like, oh, hey, you don't have to worry about, defense anymore. Like, their defense is mitigated. You just roll full damage. There's a couple options here, because what this would be, it would be, let's say 21 defense minus that, it would be effectively 5d10 damage to you. Because you have 70 attack, you have 21 defense. On the other hand, let's say I use a move that, adds plus 30 attack or whatever. So it'd be plus 30 ATK for this move. But, I use the move or whatever, and it's like 10d10 minus 2d10. Minus 2d10 equals 8d10 damage, which is a lot, but there's a cooldown and stuff like that. There's a couple ideas of how to do this system. None of them work properly in my head. None of the ideas in my head really feel like they click together nicely, so I've been kind of going back and forth on them. If you all have suggestions, now is the time to tell me, because I'm open for anything at this point. Which is the big thing about these streams, where I actually like it when people a back and forth dialogue is always a lot more interesting to me. Yeah, no, it's in my head. I see it. In execution, it doesn't quite work. Like, the way I'm thinking of it makes sense, but something about it doesn't also make sense, because in a sense of absolute hilarity, we're using Pokemon combat, but a modified version of Pokemon combat. Effectively, your pals are here, their pals are here. We are separated by the battle zone. So if I use a move that is, but it all depends on if it's far, close, or mid. Because far range attacks are going to act last, close range attacks are going to ask first, mid range attacks are going to ask in the middle. If I do a close range attack that does 8 bajillion damage, you might die before you even get to use your ability. On the other hand, if I fuck up, and you might use a far attack at the very end of the round and decimate my ass. So it's kind of like you can wait for a big far attack or use a close attack, and if there's multiple pals on the field, they have to target certain characters. They have to make like a target. Like, I want to target you, or I want to target the group. There's a couple ideas here. I think they work. Like, the premise is functional. That's, I think, the worst part. The worst part about this is that the idea is there, but the idea doesn't want to click properly. And what I need to do is enter a fugue state and finish it. Which I have to go with my mom to physical therapy tomorrow, and which means I am going to hide in a coffee shop for about an hour and a half. And when I'm in that coffee shop, I'm going to take my little notebook here, and I'm going to write out Power World combat perfectly in my fugue state with a coffee, because that is how I operate. But generally speaking, we're looking pretty solid on a lot of things. This is kind of more of an update stream because we didn't have anything really to do today, to be honest. Kind of a quiet day, but that's the nature of the metaphorical beast. One thing to note, though, is currently we are doing there's these three these are the current setup of the projects. These are the three current projects we are all debating on that we're doing in order. Legally distinct Arknights, I'm gonna make a call. We can get that done by the end of the month. That's my goal, is to get it done by the end of the month. I know how to do it. I know how to make it functional. Fist of Chaos Ultra Anarchy is in a weird place right now because I need to make a decision. There's two decisions I need to make. The first decision is, do I want to keep it generic, or do I want to attach a setting to it? And if I attach a setting to it, what do I base that setting on? Because there's a lot of ideas, and not a lot of good ones, because the Fists of Chaos, for those who don't know, is a fighting game RPG. It is a game about punching people to death with my fists in Ultra Combat, hence Ultra Anarchy. The current version is called a Beast Mode. The thing with it is, if we go with the idea of a setting, I'm leaning toward a setting, but I don't know what setting to make. Because you can go with the idea of like, oh, well, I want to make a not Guilty Gear. But not Guilty Gear has a lot of assumptions with it. So why not just not Tekken? Because not Tekken is pretty much what Fists of Chaos currently vibes with. But maybe not Street Fighter would be the best. The Street Fighter has a bunch of shit going on in it. Do you know Street Fighter has lore? Yeah, I do too. I don't know. I was like, okay, and like maybe we do like another esoteric, the TTRPG of a fighting game that doesn't exist. That's kind of the idea. It's the TTRPG of a game that doesn't exist. Will we need to employ a tulpa for this? Yes, most likely. But there's a lot of ideas, and that's the problem. Darkstalkers it is. But yeah, like even just saying Darkstalkers, that changes so much about the premise behind things, and you're like, is that the right option? Do I want to deviate that far? Should I deviate that far? And that it's a nightmare scenario, I swear to fucking God. This is why I hate writing settings. I'm really bad at it. I can never decide on what I want. And I've got there's a few vague ideas. Again, I'm leaning toward a not Tekken or not Street Fighter. Like, just the idea of like, yeah, we're all in this crazy tournament and we're all doing it's a worldwide tournament kind of thing. Make up some Chinese fighting game they made to compete with the Japanese market on the fake console no one has ever heard of. Yeah, effectively, yeah, but it's like, what fake Chinese fighting game are we making? That's the idea. Are we making not Tekken? Not Tekken's gonna play a lot differently than not Street Fighter. Because, like, that's the weird thing with Tekken. Like, you gotta remember with Tekken, because we all love Tekken. Like, oh man, who's the, like, let's see, like, if you go, like, basic Tekken, like, what's the superpower? Like, let's find one of my, let's find my favorite man of all time. King. Let's do King. You wanna know why I like King? King is just a dude. King's just a fucking guy. He's not special. He's just a guy in a jaguar mask. What's his superpower? Lucha Libre. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. He's a pretty normal dude. Like, overall, he's a pretty normal guy. Outside of wearing a jaguar mask. But then you think about it for a bit, and you're like, okay, like, alright, you know, like, what's Feng's superpower? Ah, you know, he knows Chinese Kenpo. Okay, that's it, yeah. But you're like, all right. You're like, then you start getting weird characters like Kumo or Kuma. Kuma's just a fucking bear. Kuma's just a fucking bear who is a bodyguard of a. Remember that, everyone. Heihachi has a bear as a bodyguard. Like, you gotta remember, he has a bear that is a bodyguard because he's insane. And, but, like, sometimes you have characters who are clearly just, who fucking cares? You're not a real character. And then you see characters that are like, I'm gonna fire fireballs at you, and you're like, what? Well, on the other hand, you get things like Street Fighter. Like, Street Fighter, Ryu shoots a fireball, man. He shoots a fucking fireball. That is not like, oh man, he's shooting something. No, he is shooting a fireball at you. He is a magic person. He is also 5'10". God, he's 5'9". They made him shorter in Street Fighter 6. They made him shorter. He is a little manly. He's 5'9". Still wouldn't want to fight him, but like, yeah, no, he's still just like a dude. Like, it's very bizarre. Hey now, Kuma One Evo. Man, it's good thing Heihachi is really dead. Yoshimitsu by himself is yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a bunch, like, not Skullgirls, everyone's like, yeah, King of Fighters. Like, is also a sports journalist. Like, yeah, it's one of those things, like, some of these are really easy to understand. Like, all right, King of Fighters is like, okay, we can just play King of fucking Fighters. Like, all right, and like, all right, cool. Like, there's nothing weird about any of these characters. And then you look into it and be like, he can fire a fireball, can he? Yeah, he can fire a fireball. Yeah, okay, fuck it. I always forget how long King of Fighters characters are. How long they are. I'm like, yeah, where do you design my fucking clamp? Like, what would be, what's, like, it's middle of the night, obscure fighting game. What are some obscure fighting games that, like, yeah, we're just gonna steal, we're just gonna steal this. It's gonna be like what a JoJo game or something. Tobal #1, Clay Fighter, Saturday Night Slam, Power Stone. Bloody Roar got a pretty good game. Eternal Champions, Star Gladiators, Last Blade, Battle Arena, and then fucking Bushido Blade. Every game should become Bushido Blade, but that's just my opinion on the matter. I fucking love Bushido Blade. Like, I don't think people understand. Yeah, Waku. Alright, I'll just go fuck my 5'6" self. Yeah, no, it's... I'm sorry. Spartan, I'm sorry. Do you need the booster seat? See, being a 6'2", you know, rotund gentleman, like, I tower above the manlet. I stride with confidence as I reach above and grab something for someone smaller, as he looks there in his 3'9" little baby seat, crying incoherently that he may never know. We kings under the mountain, we kings! Gets his stool to stand up on it, struggles to get up, falls over, starts crying. We kings! Ah, can't hear you down there. What's going on? What's that little noise? Let me just look down real fast. Hee-ho! Making fun of short people is my this is the way I deal with society. Waku Waku 7. Oh sweet Jesus. Imagine Fist of Chaos, Ultra Chaos Edition. It's just Waku Waku 7. Sorry everyone, we're all cartoon characters. Just double down and be like, fuck it. Like, yeah, no, it's like, I have a morbid fascination with, like, certain fighting games. Because here's the thing, here's a secret that I don't tell many people. I legitimately love fighting game tournaments. I love watching fighting game tournaments. It's just fun. I don't like playing fighting games, though. But watching like a good high quality Tekken match is a lot of fun. Even watching good Street Fighter is pretty fun. But here's the thing, I don't like Guilty Gear. Like, that's the weird thing. I don't actually like watching like high level Guilty Gear. Like, I keep trying to like high level guilt. It's so fucking boring. I don't know why. It's so fucking boring. Tekken, man, you're like, damn, that dude whiffed. Like, damn, he dropped a combo, and you're like the thing with like Tekken, like you see that like a really intricate combo go off, and you see someone get out of it, or you see like a cool recovery from it. You feel like it feels amazing. You're like, holy shit, I'm fucking in. Like the thing with like Guilty Gear is like every single Guilty Gear Strive match I've seen is literally go as fast as possible to get them stuck in the corner, and everyone must Unga Bunga, because Unga Bunga is the best strategy in the game. And like, yeah, it's like, oh, even like older Guilty Gears, I was like, not my really thing. That's why I've always been fascinated by Tekken, just because it's amazing what adding the ability to turn does to a game, but it does a lot. Oh, I mean, hit that button. Because I believe in, let me see it. This is, you can tell this is an old one, by the way, because of the way it's formatted, by the way. Because like the big gimmick with Fists of Chaos is that Fists of Chaos has you build every single move you can do. Yeah, like it's like you have to build every single thing, of like even just being able to change your stance up, being able to change certain passive bonuses, or go grabbing your moves and things. How many keywords are there? This is where you end up with I believe you can actually do I believe you could do an Oki. Can't remember if yeah, there's a couple like weird things you can do in this game. Like, just because I'm like, I want to add every single thing you can do possibly in a Every single possible thing you can do in a fighting game, I want you to be able to do. Yeah, there we go. There's so many little things that go on there. Yeah, there's going to be, you can even see like modifiers need changes. There's a lot of changes that needs in this game. That's why it's like, okay, if I were to sit down and be like, we're just changing the whole thing, we can do it. Daru won't have that, if I recall correctly. But yeah, no, that's kind of the current state of affairs. I do know this one. I've spoken with the commissioner about it. We are it's literally as of right now known as the Palinka effect. The entire concept of what we're going to have to do with this one is something very simple, which will be remarkably complex at the same time, and that is we have to write Nen. We are going to be writing an overly complicated, a really overly complicated magic bullshit anime system, where saying, fuck you no jutsu is going to be a valid tactic. I don't want to use the Fortisi tarded version, because I don't feel that's correct. But we're going to have to create a Nen-like. If Nen is the ultimate power thing for a manga, we need to create we need to make the Nen of tabletop. And we're going to have to indulge in that. How are we going to do it? No idea. Do we believe we can? Of course we do, because we believe in ourselves. Because the real friends were... Remember, everyone, the real friends were the people we murdered and stole their body parts along the way. Fuck you, Itachi. There could be Uchiha here. Yeah, I don't know why, but recently server VC chats have descended into Naruto bullshit hour. I don't ask for this, but it just happens. Bullshit no jutsu. Yeah, it's like, how do we do a Nen system for tabletop? Not even necessarily the concept of Nen, just the idea of here is a set of powers that let me do things at this really specific juncture and let me like do my jutsus and do all these things, except everyone is in Yugoslavia. We are going to be in fantasy Yugoslavia. It is total ninja war or total everything war. No one is going to win. We are not making it out of the hood. It's to kill them all. Two Quillian dead shinobi. Kill them all. See, there is a distinct part of me that wants to just make it like Terra. Just a go fast, die hard kind of game, but there's a few ideas that we can do here. But that's kind of the update more than anything. We didn't really dev too much, but that's that. I need to get people together for Cruciform eventually. Cruciform, man, final thing on Cruciform. Cruciform is effectively written and done. It literally just needs editing at this point. If we are being really cool and hip to the kids, and we add in a bunch of lore, this book will probably be about, I'm estimating about 100, 115, 120 pages. I'm seeing those notes. Sound, yeah, crippling you mechanically. Your option will probably end the card. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple ideas like that need to get moved around. I need to talk to people about it. I also wrote the Cruciform Adventure System, literally just because I need guidelines to write adventures, because I realize I don't write adventures for anything. This is just kind of like my really basic idea. I'm literally using the Storyteller Adventure System, the thing that not a single human being liked, before or after the insertion of art. It's kind of hard to tell with art. I'm making an estimate of about 120 pages. Uh, that's a very conservative estimate, though. That's like, obviously some of these things are going to look a lot different and read a lot different. But the core idea, what the plan is that the cruciform manuscript, this document, will be the thing distributed to people who say, I want to run the game, but I don't want to buy the game. And I'll be like, cool, you want to play the game but do not buy the game right away. You run with the cruciform manuscript. But the full cruciform game will have the undead in them. It will have a couple more miracles. It'll have a couple more things here. It's kind of like we're going to be pulling things away from the manuscript version to the main book, so you have an encouragement to buy the main book. Hey, you bought the main book, you get everything in the game, not just what we want you to have. Oh, hey, ha ha ha. You have to improvise now, kind of thing. Like, if you buy the full book, you get the full adventure. You get the 3-day Witch's Night adventure. Hey, if you buy the full book, you get all of the artwork. If you buy the full book, you get... That's kind of the idea. Like, we're encouraging you to buy the whole book, but the entire game it'll be in the manuscript. Currently, like, the things that I'm having issues with is redoing everything to make sure everything kind of like fits together nicely. That's being kind of annoying. The other thing I'm kind of struggling with is kind of filling out some of these things. Like, I feel like we should add more miracles. I don't know what to do with the miracles, though. That's kind of one of the issues there. Like, it's a bunch of presentation things. Like, yeah, like, one of the issues with armor, like, armor has an issue. Like, this is kind of the, like, I kind of modified how armor works. There's a lot of options with Cruciform currently. Yeah, if you buy the full mode, you get Belmont mode. Kind of the idea, like, you get Belmont mode, you get... If anything, if I want to be a real asshole, what I would do is I would put solo mode for the manuscript, but if you want to play Belmont, if you want Belmont mode, you have to buy the full book. It's kind of like, as a bonus, here's Belmont mode. Generally speaking, as for the expansion packs, the only thing for Cruciform I really have is Belmont mode, which is the idea of playing Cursed Families instead of the Holy Church, which is the same system, just artifacts can be cursed now, and they can be a lot more dangerous, and they can be a lot sillier. You have the ability of playing a witch. That's a very big thing to play. And a couple other little things of like build and the idea of generations and things like that. And we have Shrine Maiden mode, which Shrine Maiden mode is how do we play Tuhu in our Cruciform. And that's what all it would be. It would be playing a Tuhu, and that would be the joke. It's tea parties and fighting yokai, except the yokai are a lot calmer than demons, and it's just a lot of people throwing hissy fits at one another. I've even got to the point where I call problems incidents in this game. They're just incidents. Like, yeah, all right, we're borrowing a little bit from Toot Hoot. Like, uh-oh. Let's see. Do we have anything? I've been debating on like what other like expansion packs to do to add to Cruciform. There's a couple ideas. It's like, do we go here? Do we not go here? Like, what's the plan there? I'm like, If you ever have any suggestions, leave a comment in the probably Notocracy, the Notocracy forum, if you have a question about it. South America. I don't know what to add in South America. That's a problem. Like, what would you do outside of just it's Cruciform, except it's South America? Latino mode. My favorite, Latino mode. Dead cartels, cartel hunting expansion. See, if I wanted to be funny, what I would do is South America mode would just be Blood Trail mode, and it would just be let's play Roberta's Blood Trail. Like, it would just be a Roberta mode. Like, how do I play a literal psychopath? Yeah, it's like the idea of if things go according to plan with the CAS, the Cruciform Adventure System. Like, the idea of the Cruciform Adventure System is that it's very easy to just write adventures, like, just write out a bunch of things. And I could just say, hey, do you have a cool adventure that you want to share for Cruciform? Just send it to me. Like, hey, you can just make adventures for Cruciform. This is how you make an adventure. This is how you do it. And, like, even then, it's just like, it'd be pretty easy just to be like, here's an idea I had, fight a bunch of ex-allied vampires who've gone rogue. Like, oh hey, here, fight the shape. Cruciform creator kit. See, it wouldn't even be like, oh, make things for Cruciform. Like, not really. It would just be make adventures for fuck it. Milk chocolate stout. Good one. Heavier than I thought. But yeah, no, there's ideas. If anyone has ideas, just send it to me. I'm kind of down for anything with Cruciform. Literally, if you ever have a suggestion for a game or like a suggestion of like an idea for a project or something that I'm working on or thinking about working on, just fucking send it to me. Like, I'll probably take it into consideration, unless it's stupid. Yeah, we still do not have the Pathfinder 2nd Edition team. This is our current squad. I am... This is the current situation. This is, mind you, this is our next party for our Pathfinder 2nd Edition game, by the way. Tasty. Also, about the Kickstarter in the room. Any intention of opening it? I don't know. I keep going back and forth about a Kickstarter. Unironically, here's the thing. Unironically, I was thinking about going to New York sometime in like maybe late October, early November, going to New York and talking with my art director and talking with Scribble and sitting down with Scribble mano a mano, and maybe we can get Cole in there or something, just mano a mano, and just hammering something out, because he's ran a Kickstarter before. That's the big thing. He's ran a fucking Kickstarter before, so it's like, is this a good idea? Can we do this? And like, I know what I would have to do, and roughly speaking, if I want to be conservative, this is me being very conservative and being like, we're overestimating. Probably if we have a Kickstarter for about 1,200, we can make it work. Because I intend the book to be black and white. Like, I want it to be like a manga. And that's kind of the idea. Like, very little, if any, actual art pieces, like colored art pieces, like, and very that way, because I want it to have that vibe. And also, what I want to do is I want to get a fucking, I want to see if I can't get one of the Japanese devs I vaguely know being like, hey, I got this thing. Do you want to translate it over to Japanese? We can be partners. We can be buddies. And, you know, kind of shift it over there and sell it at like game market, because it would be pretty easy. I'm building it with that in mind. But it's like, okay, like how do we how do we shift things around? Do we want to make it official like a Kickstarter version? Do we just want to do a backer kit? Do we want to do like itch.io funding even? Like itch.io funding is not a bad idea. $1,200 on that. Here's the manuscript. If you can download the manuscript for free, the more money we raise, the better it is. You get a physical book at the end of it. Everyone wins. It's like, is that the right option? Is that not the right option? Like there's a lot of if and or maybe but perhapses. I don't know yet because we need to do, I would say, 3 rounds of editing, changing, and that's going to require playtesting. I even kind of talk about it over here in Cruise Autism, like it would be we're technically in playtest phase 1. September I will be almost entirely open. I wanted to do something in August that just never kind of panned out. I'll see if I can't get someone, and like, you know, September we can run a few things. October, November, I want to kind of get that playtest out to more people and have people that are not me play it. Then lead to the December with the general manuscript is complete. This is what the game is going to look like. This is what the game, the basic writing and bullshit of the game is done. We just need to put it in there, and probably by November, I want to be like, here is $300 to one of my artists. This is what, boom, 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 this is what I need. Boom, 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 this is what I have to have. Like with my artists, I'm pretty open. I'm gonna give them a lot of freedom because I think that's going to help more than anything. I have kind of the ideas. I've got the 5 sample I've got the sample characters. Like I've got 5. I got the sample characters, and they're going to be the ones explaining, quote unquote, things throughout the book. Probably, you know, we've got Peter. We've got God. What are all the? We've got Jonah, Abel, Chio, Arcelia, and Peter. These are our 5 example characters. We'll probably have some more in there. That's kind of the idea with them, is that they're supposed to be pretty to the point. Peter's a brick shit house. Peter's our brick shit house. He's a golem. He's a nice man. That's kind of the idea. He is a nice man. He has the fists of Job. Which with wave motion, he pretty much hits D8 at range 1, and he just beats the shit out of you. That's his superpower. He beats you to death with his fists. He has very little range, but he is also a full-on exorcist. That's his entire thing, is exorcism. He is not very graceful. Arcelia is a ghost. She is actually a full-on healer. She's got 6 miracles, but only 3 pass down the thing of healing. And she's got only a staff. It does fuck all damage, but she doesn't really need to do that because she wants to use miracles to blast your face off. Chio, obviously, our anime wolf girl. She's got the glamour light. She's got, I believe that is I believe she has like a cloak, effectively. And yes, does she have a heavy handgun, a simple handgun, and a katana? Yes, of course she does. Why wouldn't she? And then Abel, our vampire himbo, otherwise known as Abel von Manfred Hocken. All he has is Widow Song, which is a sword, which is the great sword. Which he swings around at people and hits them because that is what he believes in. He is not actually very good at most things in life. He's just very strong and very to the point. And then we have Temple. Jonah's just a hitman. He's got a bunch of things down the thing of battle. And he's got a one-shot death pistol and a rapier because he's a witch hunter. That's it. Make Peter a Pedro. It would be funny. Big titty fox girl or werewolf bar? Big titty fox girl, yes. The idea of Peter, Peter is literally a golem. He's like, yeah, what's your name? Peter. You have a last name? No. he is perfectly created by the Holy Church to be a one-man brick shit house. He doesn't really give a shit about anything else. As you notice, he is the only person with 100 purity. He's the nicest person available. That's kind of the idea of like how do you play Peter? Peter is very stoic and he likes taking care of his garden. That's all he does. He takes care of his garden and he fucks off. Because that's kind of the idea of golems. It's like golems are... The idea of golems is that they are pure of sin. They're pure in all their ways. Like, they don't quite understand people very well, and they're like, yeah, okay, I understand that. And you're like, Peter, are you okay? No. Pedro means stone. It's funny. Yeah, I already had one Spanish, Arcelia here, Milagros. Eden Helm's large grimoire. She's supposed to just counter everything. You might be saying, oh wow, she does D0 damage. No, she does sort of force effectively in damage anytime she hits with her staff, but she doesn't want to. She just wants to parry everything. Suji has actually the lowest health out of everybody. Counterpoint, Suji is also supposed to be at range and shoot people with a gun, because that's her goal in life, is to shoot people with a gun and just ignore problems, because she is a weird anime fox girl who knows a little bit too much about fairies and therians. She's kind of your skill monkey. But yeah, that's kind of the current idea. I'm gonna call it there. Thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad, and hopefully on Friday we will be hammering more things out about Arknights. Hopefully I have a couple ideas. Godspeed, good luck. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. I will see you all Friday. Probably not tomorrow, but who knows? I'm all for being a little chaotic. All right. God said, "Go forth and multiply." So camera anime, fox women, toxic women would summarize Suji pretty well, and that'd be like the idea. Suji's fucking weird, and that should be the idea. Is like, yeah, no, she is like an anime fox girl who really isn't into this whole like thing yet. She's like, yeah, I'm kind of away from that, being like, are you sure, Suji? Don't you want to feel the Lord? And Suji's like, nah, I'm good. Okay, I'm good. Sayonara. I'm not. Nope, not doing this. I'm an anime fox girl. Fuck you. But probably the one which will be showing up most often will be Abel, because Abel is a direct reference to where the fuck are yeah, Abel is a direct reference to Abel Nightro from Trinity Blood. This is legitimately how I want him to look. It's like, yeah, he's just Abel from Trinity Blood, except instead of being like, I'm wise and intelligent, no, there's not a single thought going through this man's head. This man is a dumbass. He is a vampire himbo. And that's the joke, is that he is like, yeah, I know things beyond what my age. No, he's just stupid. He is just dumb. It's just a dumb motherfucker. And that's half the joke. Oh, there we go. Yeah, good old Abel Night Road. Yeah, indirectly, over time, Trinity Blood has become more important to the actual vibe. I don't know why, it just happens. I don't make the rules. It just occurs. I don't know how it keeps happening, everyone. Alright, I am away, as they say. Godspeed, good luck. I'll see you all on the flip side.